As a devotion, I would like to share with you a poem written by another seminarian, Stephen D. Lee. The poem is entitled, Called. For each one of us does have a call of our own from God to love and serve one another. You have followed such a special calling, the call to make yourself available, the call to make yourself vulnerable, the call to see your own humanity in others, the call to be broken at times in compassion, the call to be healed and to heal, the call to see the Spirit of God in others, the call to listen to this Spirit in yourself. But mostly, you have been called to be you, a child of God, a steward, a teacher, a student, a lover of others, a disciple. For miracles will and have been wrought within and shown without at all times and in all places of your life. In spite of you sometimes, in celebration of you and others, but always as the hands, feet, heart, head, and body of Christ. You are called to be blessed and to be a blessing. During this time of COVID, it has been quite difficult to get to know each one of you, and it's equally difficult for each of you to get to know me. However, I've noted a theme in the discussions I've been able to have with St. Mark's members. You want to know a little more about my call story, and you want to know what's going to happen after I complete my internship here next August. It was my last video devotion that I shared how my call story began when I was but a child. I've described myself as a Jonah running from the call of the Lord for years. But what was that one pivotal moment in my life that caused me to stop running and follow my call? I was involved in something called the Diaconia program. And this program is basically a lay school theology, and it seems that many of you here are familiar with the program. Anyway, my latest excuse had been, how can someone with severe arthritis be a pastor? Well, I thought it was a great excuse. Then, when I was in Diaconia, we had an evening where we were discussing visitation, and into class rolled a quadriplegic chaplain who had also served as a pastor while being a quadriplegic. Well, my reaction was, dang. There goes my last excuse. If he can do all that, including attend seminary as a quadriplegic, I can do it, no matter what my ailments are. So what happens to me next? Well, I've been attending Luther Seminary for the past 4 years, and while it is customary that after you finish your internship, you will go back and finish your classes at seminary, because of the bacterial infection I had in my spine, I had to delay my internship for a year. So I've actually finished all of my classes and taken an extra clinical pastoral education unit. So when I'm done here, what it means is I will get my diploma when I finish here next August. I can walk in the commencement ceremony next June, because what I'm doing is actually known as a culminating internship. But what does all that mean for my future? Well, beginning in another month or so, I'm going to begin working on paperwork for something called early faculty approval. That's when the faculty at Luther is going to sit down and interview me and determine if they feel I'm ready to become a pastor. The interview with the faculty will happen likely in March. Then I will have approval paperwork to do with my ELCA Synod, and that will consist of an essay, a report from Luther, my rostered minister profile, and a report from Pastor Lori and the internship committee here. That paperwork will go to my Florida Bahamas Synod in June, and in July, I will interview with them for approval. If the candidacy committee agrees that I'm ready to serve as an ordained minister, they will approve me. Once I'm approved, I will finish my internship here, which will only be a few more weeks. I will be listed as available for a first call, and the bishop and staff of the Florida Bahamas Synod will assist me in finding my first call congregation. I will be interviewed by whatever congregations are seeking a pastor, and once a church actually agrees to call me as their pastor, I will be ordained and then serve that congregation as pastor. I bet that was clear as mud. But at least now, when you ask Katie or I, what are your plans after next August, you will understand why we just smile and say, I have no idea. Because we are going to follow God wherever He is leading us. And I don't know where that church is going to be, that congregation who's going to issue my call, but wherever it is, that's where we will be.